Don't get nervous on me now, y'all. Alright, we back. We Need Answers podcast. Today we got a very important episode in my opinion. I think everybody's opinion. Teaching is very important, and as we all know, our ways of life has changed since this COVID stuff hit. But more importantly, the schools and everything else has changed, and the people we gotta give all the props to are the teachers and first and foremost. So so with this episode, we just want to shed light on the schools, the teachers, and future of schools. So we just need answers about everything that's going on and how everything works. Cause I know I don't have no kids, but when I see everybody on Instagram and Twitter, they go in about the homeschooling and you being mad they gotta do all that stuff now. So we want to get the real deal about it, and then get out, like, I'm assuming that a lot of people change their look at teaching and just the lifestyle period, and that having to go through it themselves. So we just want to get the real deal here. So we got 4 young lady teachers here from all over, East Baltimore schools, right? Elementary schools. So if y'all want to just say y'all names and where you teach, what grade, we can start like that.
My name is Javonni, and I teach pre-K currently at Harford Heights Elementary School.
I'm Kiara Winder. I teach kindergarten at Harford Heights as well.
I'm Shantiti. I teach kindergarten at Harford Heights as well. And I am Demetria. My people know it's Meech, and I'm at Fort Worthington.
Okay. Thank y'all ladies for being here. So my first question for y'all is, what made y'all want to be teachers?
I wanted to be a teacher because I was not happy in the career that I had first started out on. I went to college to be a fashion buyer, and I was working in Burlington Store's corporate office, and I just felt like it wasn't really my scene. I didn't feel like I fit in, and I was looking for just a change. I was living in Jersey, and I was talking to my then boyfriend, and I was just like, what if I became a teacher? Like, I think I could be a teacher. And my son at the time was like 3 maybe, and I was like, well, I teach him, and he's really smart, and everybody's always like, oh my gosh, he knows all these words, and he does all this and that. Like, I think I could teach other people's kids too. So I looked into it and found an alternative route program, BCTR, moved to Baltimore, and became a teacher. So yeah, it was like, for me, for my son, I wanted a life change. I wanted a job that I feel like he would be proud of me. So yeah, teaching was it.
That is so sweet. My story is not nice like this. I literally was like, I never wanted to teach. I did not want to work with kids. I became a para after I left college, and I just needed a job while I was in grad school.
What's a para?
So this is a teacher assistant, basically.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, well, this is just going to be my job until I get out of here. When I went in, I was like, I do not want to be here again. So, yeah, it was just my means to an end to begin with. But being there for, with the kids, I actually started to enjoy myself. So I was like, you know what? This is something I can actually do. And to be honest, even when I finally did decide to become a teacher, I was like, I really still don't want to do it. I like being a parent. I had a few people talk me into it, but I also went to BCTR like Javonni, so I mean, I love it now. It's definitely rewarding, and I enjoy it.
Hey.
Wait, sis, go
I know,
ahead.
you're like, ah. Well, mine's like, so I went to school at Howard, and I went to school for sports medicine. Like, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a cardiologist. Like, I've been saying this since I was 4. Got there, started volunteering at the hospital. I was like, oh, this is not my life. This is not my life. I can't do this. So I called my mom, and I was like, oh, I think I want to become a teacher. She was like, I did not pay for you to go to Howard University to become a teacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. I was like, why would you do that to me? Like, she usually supports me in everything. But I did city year in DC, and so when I did city year, being around the kids and like learning a whole bunch of different teaching techniques, I left and I went to South Africa for Peace Corps. So that's where like teaching kind of came out a lot more, and my mom actually supported me being a teacher in South Africa, which was so weird because she's like, no, like you can't be a teacher. Like teachers don't make money. They don't do this. And I'm like, okay, and so I know they don't, but it's like all about that passion. So when I realized like it was the passion, like the passion of helping other people, I'm also in an alternative program, but in urban teachers, which is different from BCTR.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that was how I got in. I was like, I'm gonna be a doctor, and then no, I don't want to do that no more.
That's dramatic.
I know, right? Right.
You guys have some good jobs.
Well, right, I was thinking the same thing, man.
This might sound cliche, but this is literally all I know. Like, I've always worked with children, family babysitter.
Okay.
High school, my major was early childhood education. I got my 90 hours there. I did work study. My job kept me. And then somebody said, well, try Head Start. You might like it. Got in a Head Start, loved it. Then my cousin challenged me, like, come to Baltimore City. I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. I like the babies, and I'm used to the infant room and the toddlers. And so she kept pressing me, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try it. I went in thinking that I would have kindergarten because that's what I wanted. But then they said, no, you'll have first grade. And then like 2 weeks before school started, no, you got second grade. And I've had second grade for 5 years, and I love it. I do not want to teach anything else. You know how we gotta do our intent form? Every year I put second as my first choice, second as my third choice, and then I scratched my own line and put second grade.
Oh, you're like only second grade.
Thank God they let me, keep second grade. That's my story.
That's what's up. So I kind of I don't work in the schools no more, but and I wasn't a teacher, but I worked in a school capacity. Similar story. I went to college for business marketing. And my idea, I see this all the time, my idea of college was completely different from what I thought it was, what it really is. I thought once I got a degree, I could just work anywhere, and I found out, no, you cannot.
Right.
So I chose the wrong major, and I started doing like one-on-one with kids, like the mentoring programs and stuff, and then I ended up working at, I was working with autistic kids at Shepherd Pratt, the school, and then that was one of the most challenging jobs I ever had in my life. And that's one thing I want to talk about as far as the pay that y'all feel teachers should get. We gonna get to that, because that job, man, you gotta wrestle these kids all the time and all that stuff, like all that vocabulary they want you to use is crazy. But anyway, I started, after I did all that, I ended up working in a high school as like a, kind of like a counselor. It was damn, I forgot the name of the position. But anyway, I used to run groups for high school kids out in Montgomery County. And it was like, to see the difference out there compared to high schools here is amazing. Because it's like, totally respectable kids. Like, never had an issue with none of them. Probably once or twice, and once I did, it was corrected. But it's just, it definitely gives you it makes you look at your adolescence and just kids, period, a whole different round. I'm sure y'all, because y'all seeing them from the babies up, so. But anyway, what do y'all, it's like, by y'all taking different turns as far as college, and besides you said you did this from the gate.
Come on.
So when y'all first got into the field, how was y'all, like, did y'all get discouraged after a while? Did y'all was like, I like it, or it was like, I don't know if it was, like you said, you don't know if you want to do this long, but then y'all end up growing into it. So how was the change?
So for me it was different, right? Because for me it was different because I was teaching in South Africa. So over there, like when you tell the kids something, they do it. Like there's no questions, there's no like talking back. So when I came back, I was experiencing like reverse culture shock, which is like you're just confused as what happened like here. And I had a little girl, she was like, oh, I want to go to the bathroom. And I was like, no, like wait for a couple minutes so we can get through this. She was like, Mama said. I was like, oh my God, yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I was like, I'm back home. No, it was that
culture
moment.
Shock.
Yes, it was a culture shock for real, and it just threw me off. But it didn't like discourage me because I come from a huge military family, so we have such like a very like type of personality.
Cold, like
But so with that, it wasn't as discouraging, but. Winding knows. Me and her had to talk a couple times for me to be like, you got this, sis. Because it was hard at first. Especially that first year teaching was like.
It's always that first year.
You got this, sis. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it was a lot easier.
The mic.
it was a lot easier for me before my kid. Like, listen, before you have kids, you're fine. Like, you're like, all right, I can deal with these kids all day. I get home, you can go relax yourself, you know, mind your business. Yeah, coming from working with 25 little ones and you go home to your own, it's constant. Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, what in the world? So some days I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I'm gonna do this. They're gonna be sick tomorrow, y'all. I don't know what's going on, but you know me. I take my mental health. That is very important.
It's
Mental health is
necessary.
important.
It's
I
necessary.
take my mental health days when needed. So yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, it's very rewarding to see your babies go from you know the beginning of the year to the end of the year is drastic, and that's not even just grades. It's like their development, just all around. They just become a whole new little human beings. But you know, you have your days. We're human.
Yeah, absolutely.
My first year, I feel like it went by so quickly. But I remember I would have dreams about my class like every night. And it
You
was
never
like,
got off work.
Okay, I gotta go sleep.
Like 24/7.
I would wake up so mad. Like, why am I thinking about these kids still? Like, I'm about to go see them. And my first year, it was a good year. I feel like I definitely had those moments of stress, frustration, confusion. What am I supposed to be doing right now? And I felt like, and I think it was, I mean, I love the people that I worked with that first year, but I felt like I needed a little more guidance as far as my administration and I kind of felt like I just kind of had to figure it out a lot. Like I was pulling a lot on my own experiences being in school, and okay, I think this is how it's supposed to go. Not a lot of guidance that first year, but we made it through. And like you said, they grew, their minds were expanded, their relationships with each other. I definitely had a little boy that would rearrange my classroom furniture and climb on it.
Oh my God.
And like have to get down and was like, no, and you know, all of that. I had one that fought me, fought the other kids, just ninja jumped onto the carpet and
Y'all deal with a lot of energy too.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was ups and downs, but it was good. It was good. I still love those kids. They're going to the 5th grade this year.
So your age.
And you had them at what age?
I had
Grade?
them in pre-K. I
Oh,
had them
wow.
in pre-K
In
and kindergarten.
Yep.
Because I kept my class into kindergarten
That's what's
next
up.
year. Yeah, so they're like, you know, they're still very deeply embedded in my heart. But yeah, I mean, that was the first year. It was ups and downs, but overall good.
Similar experience. If anybody tell you they got through their first year without dreaming about their kids, without pulling their hair out, without being stressed, they're not being honest.
Okay.
Because it's literally, you can be in school, the best school, nothing prepares you for that
Yeah.
first year.
I can imagine.
Nothing. Your lesson plan beautiful. It ain't gonna go that way.
Right.
You might get to some good parts.
Right.
All of this, we didn't do this.
Oh my God. But
Spent 2 hours on this lesson plan.
you're literally going to spend a lot of your time relationship building that first year. Because you're trying to get to know the field, your coworkers, your children, the curriculum, the district. So it's a lot, but I definitely had some good people who were on my team that really got me through.
Okay.
My first year, we had 3 second grade classrooms, and then one of our teachers got surplus, so then it just broke down to 2. So imagine the amount of children in those classrooms. So
What that mean? It got surplus.
they got moved.
Oh, okay.
They gone.
The
It was
teacher
just
got taken, so
Yeah.
their class had to be divided up.
Oh, dang. So all the classes got bigger.
yeah.
Yup.
And mind you, first year, I'm like, oh,
Right.
I got this. If I didn't have strong people who was able to guide me, then I probably wouldn't survive. it was a lot for
So,
her here.
from what I'm hearing is about your support system in the school has to be intact.
Definitely.
Definitely.
To be
It makes a
successful.
difference, a huge difference.
What makes a good administration team?
Supportive, clear
Yeah.
communication, you know exactly what's expected of you, and what they are going to do for you to establish the environment. I think I'm thinking of my administration now, because I will say, I feel like we have good administration. No human being is perfect,
Right.
but, they have the right mindset and, I believe a true heart for the families and the students. So just making that known, making sure your actions match your words, admin wise, and setting the tone for this is what we are and are not going to allow to happen in our school.
Right.
You actually said something really important about the human part. Don't forget where you came from. Like, you were in the classroom just like I was in the classroom.
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes you'll hear teachers say that the admin be crazy sometimes. Like, don't forget you were a teacher first, so
Right.
you know what we're
Right.
going through.
Okay.
When you cut that part out of your admin life, that's when the administration is not good.
Okay. They not
You
in
have
touch
to-
with.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now,
It's
So-
like,
realistic.
like I'm up here now, so now I forgot
Yeah.
where I came from.
They
Yeah.
get cocky and all that.
Yeah.
So in order to be a part of the admin, you have to be a teacher
You
first.
have to teach first.
You have.
Well, that's good. That's a
Yeah,
good
that's
requirement.
serious.
Yeah. So, how hard is it to come up with the lesson plans y'all was just talking about? Like, is it worth coming up with?
Okay.
Cause like you
Well,
said once you start, like you end up not even using it.
it's not hard per se.
Okay.
It's the extra things that you know you need to put in for your children
Okay.
to be successful. That extra planning that goes outside of the curriculum.
Okay.
Yup.
So you gotta know your kids.
You gotta know your
basically.
kids and you
Okay.
have to know their needs.
Okay.
And I
But then you
feel
gotta
like,
put time into it.
yeah, and I feel like a lot of people forget, like, we don't work 8 to 3. Like, those lesson plans don't happen. They don't give us time. Well, they try to build time in the day, but
You got too much.
yeah, like, you
Yeah,
at home 10
exactly.
o'clock at night.
So that's
like,
y'all
Still
homework.
lesson planning and
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
find all the materials that
Yeah.
you need for your lessons the next day.
Right,
Right.
yeah, so it's just like, it's a struggle, but that's what, like, I feel like a lot of people don't know that, like,
Yeah.
you get parents calling you 7, 8 o'clock at night, like,
Or you
Wow.
get late emails, because I used to
Yeah.
get emails from her at like 12:51 at night.
Right.
And like,
I'm
exactly.
working, I'm
So, like,
working.
but like
Dang.
being up all the time, man, it's like I had to learn how to kind of separate work and school because it just got too much. Like, and I know like my first year, like it was hard because I was like, I gotta bring all this
Yeah.
stuff home.
Yeah.
I gotta grade at home. I gotta do this, and I didn't have time to do anything else.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh Lord.
Yeah, but I remember before I left, before I even thought about leaving my job in corporate, I remember thinking like, I'm so glad I can just leave here. Like when I clock out, I don't have to think about this job until I clock back in. Like that was a thought I often had. It made me feel so good. And then I had this idea. And so now when I have that, I'm like, remember when you didn't have homework like
Wow.
that time? Yeah, it's gone.
So y'all job never really done. for
No.
real.
No, and it's so
No.
funny. My boyfriend doesn't understand it. He works in finance, so like when he gets home, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm home," and I'm like, "Babe, you trying to help me cut out this stuff from my lesson?" He was like, "I don't ask you to help me with my job." I was like, "Your job stays
It's
out
different.
there. Like you don't come home with
Right.
things you have to cut out
Right.
and plan for the next day."
It definitely spills into your relationship.
That was my next. Don't go into it yet.
Alright,
It was hard at first.
That's my next question. I'm glad you said that because on the last episode, BJ talked about that whole. Y'all know y'all familiar with that B. Simone situation with.
Oh yeah.
So with that, that's a whole different. That's a whole different field. But I'm assuming that if you're in a relationship teaching, like your partner has to be cautious. Well, like keep in mind that this job is.
Love.
Yeah. Because I assume even with emotions, they might like if you have a bad day at work, you come home with that attitude, like oh yeah,
It's
they gonna get
unfortunate,
it.
but they gonna get it. It's sad. I know it.
So talk about it. How y'all feel about relationships and teaching?
My girlfriend understands now, but when I first started, it was like she damn near gonna close my laptop on me. Like, I'm working. Like, well, it's a certain time, and I get it, but you just don't turn it
in.
off. Like you want to, but you want to be great at what you do.
Right.
So it's hard. It spills over. It took us a couple years. I tell you that for
To
her
get
to
it right.
understand.
Oh, okay.
She back off a little bit.
Okay.
Like it ain't even worth the fight.
Exactly.
Even with your friendships though, like when your friends want to go out on a Wednesday night, it's happy hour.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't go.
Right.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I got this observation this morning.
yeah.
You know exactly that's how
I
it be.
can't go. I can't do it.
Right.
But-
Man.
I do it now.
My boyfriend, he's not with it. He
Damn. Say like that.
Just flat out nah.
no, and don't let me go buy some for my class.
Oh,
Like,
Lord.
nah.
Oh,
They bring those school supplies. Well, we need this. But no, he does not like me to work at home. And he'll flat out say like he doesn't.
He wants you to get another job.
No.
Oh.
Apparently by that stuff at home at the school.
That's what you do.
Right.
No, he just feels like, and he doesn't understand that it's not, like I do try. I try to use my little time when my kids are at music class, gym class, what have you, to do my lesson planning, to do whatever it is I need to do. But that doesn't always happen. A lot of times it doesn't happen.
Because you have to be
So
pulled in all these meetings
Oh,
at school.
I just try to be as quick and concise as I can with my work at home, so I don't have to hear his mouth and have the arguing, the complaining. But yeah, he's not with me sitting on the laptop for hours.
Well, no, he got it together though. I will say because I think it was the second trimester. One of them. I think it was the first one. And I was like, can you help me separate these papers so I can grade this stuff and like put this stuff in the grade book or whatever? And it was the first time he was like, yeah, okay, like this thing, this shit. I was like, yeah, give me that. They go here, go here. But before when we first started dating, I know he would usually like.
I would have said no. I'm sorry.
But it was because I used to harass him so much. I'm like, can you really you can't just help me cut out this little thing? I'm like, it's like this small.
Put him
Like
on a
help
guilt
me.
trip.
You're right.
I did.
Oh man.
I had to. I help him with everything else. You can just
Okay.
help me cut out this little thing.
Okay.
And so, but
Something right.
right. But I had to learn a lot more with my friendships because my friends, so like a lot of my friends live in DC, so they're used to me like driving down to DC, like hanging out anytime. But I'm like, no, like my first.
Time is.
Right, cause like with my program, I'm a resident, so like I'm not a real teacher. Like I never studied in y'all rooms, but like I would help like I would be in the classroom for like half the year and then switch.
Okay.
So I wasn't the main teacher of record. So like during that first year, I did whatever I wanted, cause I was like, oh, I don't have any responsibilities. But when first year came, I was like, oh no, I have to take care of this entire classroom, so I can't even go out and do whatever I want. But my friends have done like such a good job because they understand like me being a teacher and understanding that it's my passion, it's what I want to do. That they send me money for my kids. They're like, you need a vacuum, here you go. Look, you.
That's the next. I'm friends. My friend's not that.
Look, 'cause like one day like my friend was like, oh, I want to give him a pizza party for Black History Month. I send you $200. Me and her looking like $200 for some pizza.
So she got my kids some pizza too.
So
That's what friends are for.
I was real confused. I was like, what? But it's so funny because like a lot of my friends, they aren't teachers. A lot of them are like they're pharmacists, they're lawyers, they're doctors, they do coding and all that. So for
They
me,
just respect what you do.
Yep, and I'm like, just give me all the money you want for my class and for the babies because that's what if y'all want to help, that's what I need y'all to do to get the materials for them so that they can have good like materials so that they can access education like everyone else is.
The biggest thing is them understanding it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
This work is a lifestyle.
Y'all sound like drug dealers.
Something like that. Something like that. Yeah.
But I got some pencils, so give me those pencils in my room.
No days off though. Like you don't even get like even though I take my mental health days, like those days when you just feeling like I just really don't want to do shit today.
Relax.
And then you still end up
doing something like you have to. So yes, I definitely agree that this is definitely a lifestyle and it's one that you really have to prepare yourself for because
and you be dedicated for it too.
You can really stress yourself out like really fucking bad. So you want to make sure that you're like taking those mental health days. I haven't gotten them to the point where listen, if I feel like I'm tired and I need to Gage is asleep. I'm sorry, I'm sick. I'm not coming to work. Them, like, oh my God, like I'm just so stressed. But I gotta go to work. I'm like, girl, sleep.
She's like the first person I go to. If I'm mad, I'm like, Winder! I'm like, we close the door.
Just go off. Stay home tomorrow, sis. Relax. So yes.
Yeah, I don't like taking days off. And
I don't like it either.
my boyfriend,
No, I
he's
respect
like,
it.
no. If you
Is that because of y'all jobs, or is that like y'all was like that with any job? Like you don't really like take? Because I used to
No,
be
that's
like
this
that.
job.
No, when you miss a day, it's like missing a week.
Man,
Oh, okay,
you
okay,
miss
okay.
everything.
Their behavior is off. They didn't miss the whole
your
day.
classroom is a mess.
Yeah, because they don't know how to clean it back up. Look at
I
some.
became a psychopath. Like when I called my classroom. I
For
didn't
real?
put them on the phone. What's happening?
You do.
I called.
Damn, I ain't
did
never
because
experienced that.
I had to be there.
I
Like it's
text.
different when I'm not there. Or they'll call me.
Okay.
And then I'm mad because you called me, but the whole time I was gonna call.
Right,
You couldn't
right.
call me. But I get real crazy.
No,
So-
But I know they different when I'm not there.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course, you know that.
They
You
can
know
walk
that.
in the hallway without you.
No man, how many times you gotta at least act better when people are here that
Right.
don't know you. Don't
You look out
embarrass
the
me.
door, they do
Nope.
cart
And you just looking at them like, what?
Y'all know how we was when we was in school when them
Yeah.
substitutes came in there.
That's why I
Yeah,
can't.
that
Not mine. Don't embarrass me. I mean that. Do not embarrass me. Repeat me. Don't embarrass me. They were looking at me like I'm scared.
If you get a
But-
good
but they
a group
know.
of kids that do well with a substitute, that's saying a lot. I
I
take
mean,
my head
yeah.
off. I take my head off to any class like that. So I remember
Okay.
while y'all was talking, I remember at one point, I think before or after I was at Shepherd Pratt, I did like the hall monitor in that beach field. This was years ago. I seen a lot in them hallways. I seen a lot. Like I seen it was a class. I was upstairs with a floor with like third grade, I think third grade or fourth grade. It was in one class. I remember this little girl was bad as shit. She was terrorizing class. She terrorized this class, and she had one of them parents that come up there that don't think like you know. Yeah. Or she probably knows she bad, but if it's involved another child, we going at them. It ain't about what my kid did. And then you got the one kid that always just like no matter where he go, he just acting the ass, terrorizing.
Yeah.
So with that in mind.
I was like, my son.
With that in mind, plus not taking like when your job is not done when you get off, how do y'all feel about dealing with all that stuff and the salary for a teacher? Like y'all feel like and I say that because you know it's one of the most important jobs in the country is the teacher because it's guiding the youth and you got to deal with a lot. And then especially like I said, like with the COVID stuff, is now that everything is like put on Front Street for real. Like y'all really see what we go through type of thing. So, and I know that it's tough when you got a love for what you do. Like you love the kids, so it's like it's probably tough to say I'm gonna quit or I'm gonna walk away from this job because you love them, but you need more income or whatever.
Yeah.
So how y'all feel about the salaries and what would y'all like change about it?
I'm gonna say this, unless you.
I need to relax.
Okay. We shouldn't have to have part-time.
Okay.
We shouldn't have to have a part-time job.
I know that's stressful.
Love to suffice.
Right.
Right.
I haven't picked up one yet. Thank God. I have a good girlfriend
Okay.
at home.
Okay.
But if she was not there, I probably had to pick up a part-time. And I know many teachers who work part-time jobs on top of their full-time teaching job. Shouldn't have to do it.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree too.
Should not have to do it.
I think that we should get raises more often. I feel like the system, the way it's set up to get a raise should be changed. I think, and even that I'm not even real clear on how it even all exactly works. But I feel like if you are rated overall at the end of the year effective, you're an effective teacher, I feel like there should be an immediate bonus that comes with that.
I agree.
That
You're
makes
rated
sense.
highly effective, there should be an even higher bonus for that year.
That makes sense.
And I also feel that we should get a stipend, maybe at the beginning of the year, maybe 2 or 3 times a year
Mhm.
to get things for your classroom. Here's this amount of money.
Yeah.
Bring us the receipts.
Okay.
Get what you need.
So that stuff, the class materials come out of y'all pocket.
Yes.
Yes. Decorate
Yes.
those classrooms. All
Wow.
I
yes.
spent $160 in Lakeshore.
Wow.
And I didn't even really get nothing.
They get us the
I
teacher
came
store.
out with like one bag. Like, what is this?
Wow.
It's really like that though.
It's so cute though.
It's teacher heaven.
You be like, wait a minute. Alright, so.
Wow.
It's just no you.
I mean, listen.
Right.
Yeah.
Give it to us. Give it to us.
I genuinely feel like teaching, if students don't learn, you don't have teachers, they can't do anything else. Like, what can you do if you don't learn? Like, there's no other profession that you can go into if you don't learn first. So why aren't teachers making the most?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that it never makes sense to me. Like, why are people that work, even people that work in North Avenue who don't do anything,
Right.
who sit all day and play on their computers, like they're making almost double our salary coming in. Like, why? Like, it makes no sense to me. And they aren't the people that are in the classrooms doing the work on the front line. So it's just like, yeah,
It
that
don't
bothers
add up.
me. It don't. And then for each year, you know, like, I don't know if people know, like, every year they come to us and say, oh, well, we might have to lay off, or we don't have the money for this teacher. And all this.
No.
Go ahead.
Where'd it come from?
But yeah, so each year all of our jobs are basically in jeopardy type thing.
Right.
But, so, yeah. I don't know.
He's trying to be.
He's trying to
I'm
get
listening.
he's trying
Don't
to
give
get
him no energy. Come
No,
on.
he in the
Oh,
glass.
he in there.
Oh, shit.
He's
I
trying
think
to get
there's a sweet in there.
Yeah, let him in.
It's over.
It's a wrap.
Right, he
I'm gonna just still sit him in that hallway.
So he's on.
Go ahead.
But yeah, we I don't know, like, I definitely feel like what we making is definitely not enough, but I mean, they just keep taking out of the school's budget, like, oh, well, we need to take $3 million from education and put, like, how are y'all doing it? Like, that doesn't even make sense. So then you
Nah.
have less teachers, so then the class sizes are larger. So I have seen a kindergarten class with almost 40 kids, 37 kids.
Same
like,
here.
Kindergarten?
kindergarten. You
That was my
can't,
first year.
yeah, see, it's just, yeah,
Jesus Christ.
it's
Wow.
unrealistic.
Those
I
teachers
can't
need
imagine.
raises. Those teachers right there need raises, cause
We all do.
I got all of us. Look,
But she's
I don't know. It was. I definitely feel like teachers definitely need more money
Mhm.
because of the fact that we have all of these hours outside of what we do.
Yeah.
Like, again, get late emails from her, like my other teammates. I'm like, you still up? She's like, yeah. I'm like, why? I'm over here in bed, like, I can't do this no more. And so it's really stressful because of the fact that, like, y'all have all these high expectations for us, but we don't have enough time to do any of it.
Yeah.
Like, and like I know, in like our school, we have all of these different outside, like, organizations we have to do all these things for. And I'm like, I don't have time to do all that stuff in my classroom because I only have, you gave me this amount of time for ELA, this small amount of time for social studies, this small amount of time for math. How am I going to fit all that in there too?
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah.
And the fact that, don't get me wrong, I love my parents, they the bomb. But we got y'all kids more than y'all got y'all kids.
True,
So,
true.
yeah,
Sure.
we need that money.
Sure.
Run it.
Sure.
And that's why I always say you have to love this work. And I debate with people all the time when I say that. You cannot be in this field if you don't love it because the pay doesn't match your passion.
And you gotta deal with a lot.
You have to do it for a lot. So if you're gonna be in it because that's literally where your heart is.
Yeah.
So
all the
if-
way.
You here to serve.
If somebody say like I can't get a job right now and this school opportunity presents itself, but I don't really fuck with kids,
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
There are so
No.
many teachers who
Do not
work
do this
for
shit.
the wrong reason.
Yeah.
And it's like,
They work for the benefits. The benefits.
The
of this,
benefits.
yep.
that
the
is
benefits you
really
get.
good benefits though.
But we really do.
What for?
Maybe that's where the money is.
And y'all off schedule is sweet too though. The holidays in the summer. Or is it not?
No, that summer comes out of our checks.
Oh
Yes,
shit.
it definitely does.
Oh,
Because if
okay.
you don't, then you don't get paid during the summer.
Oh,
Like I didn't do pay all year this year.
I did.
Oh, I did. That check was beautiful.
Yeah.
How did that work?
They take little chunks out of each of your checks during the
Okay.
10 months so that you'll still get
The checks on
checks
the
during
summertime.
the 2
Okay.
months.
Okay.
And you have like a week's worth of time, maybe 2 weeks, to say, I want to do that pay all year thing.
Oh.
And if you
Or
miss
if you
it,
miss it, it's done.
It's done.
And there is no like big, hey guys, it's time. Everybody alert,
Oh,
alert. It's like you gotta
figure out that
paying
one day.
attention. You gotta, yeah.
Unless you go through MeQ. That's the only other option, but
Okay.
I read it. I mean, I'm not going down. It depends. But that ain't what we talking about. But MeQ is another option.
I done been there. Trust me, I done explored that option, sis.
Yeah.
If y'all could improve anything about all everybody in Baltimore City school system, right? Y'all teach.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all can improve anything about the school system, what would y'all do?
That's a fully loaded question.
That is very fully loaded question.
Give us what you can.
The curriculum. I would say right now,
That ELA curriculum for kindergarten is
we need to be thinking about more of our kids' history. Like they're not learning any of their history, and I mean any. Like I think I read one book about Martin Luther King. You know, from the curriculum. Of course, you have to plug in all of your things, but at the end of the day, like if you don't go above and beyond to find your own way to integrate things, and you just go by their curriculum,
They won't get it.
they won't get it at all. Like, and it's sad. I mean, but it's what that's generational. It's been happening.
Yeah, it's been that
forever.
way forever.
But I mean, now in the the state of everything that's happening, they need to know these things.
Yeah.
And I feel like we need to do some financial literacy for these kids
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
they
no
not
one
getting
teaches you that. You don't
Yeah.
you don't learn unless you ask someone about it or if you research it on your own.
Yeah.
That's very important. Like I feel like they break a lot of generational curses if they go ahead and just focus on things like financial literacy and telling these kids their history instead of feeding them somebody else's history and expecting them to bite. Like
Yeah.
I had one of my kids, we were reading, remember Bria? We were reading a book and she said, ain't no black people in this book. And I said, you know what?
Wow.
I'm closing it.
That was powerful. That was powerful.
But then you have to understand like that module, it was America Then and Now, and the way that America Then and Now was expressed in there had nothing to do about the civil rights movement. Never talked about anything. It talked about this lady living in the mountains. Like, how does that relate to our kids in Baltimore City? It only relates like a small portion because even some of the things like in the book we read, we had to break down and explain to the kids like. Why are they killing a snake? Like they probably never seen a snake in the middle of Baltimore City. So it's like you have to teach them a whole bunch of background knowledge on things that has nothing to do with them or like relates to them. And it's just like she knows that module stresses me out every time we get to it because by the time we get to it, it's like Black History Month. So it's like we're not really talking about Black history with these kids because the fact that we have to teach them about all these other things that are going on in this module that has nothing to do with them.
Right.
Outdated like crazy.
No,
it's a new
curriculum.
It's new.
So they just keep updating with the old stuff.
Right, but that also reflects the who's creating these curriculum as well because these people it might be people who have never been into a city classroom.
Right.
It might be people who have never been a teacher in a classroom. Like their kids maybe at Roland Park who can do the work on there. But our kids
people creating the curriculum who don't look like them. So.
Exactly that too. And so it's very stressful every year when you get to that and you're like, I don't like teaching this module.
Yeah. I can imagine.
And who's choosing this curriculum? Are they thinking about the students that it's supposed to serve?
They not.
Of course not.
Not enough. My thing that I would change is that I feel like there should be testing that dictates what this child needs to learn, like what level they're on.
Okay.
So, like I always remember when I was in elementary school, my school had switched curriculums in math, and so everybody had to take a test. And whatever math level you tested on, that was the math class you went to. So you might have had an 8th grader in a 5th or 6th grade math class because that's what they
Skill
needed.
set that they were in.
So,
And where was that again?
oh, that was in Omaha, Nebraska. Catholic school in Omaha, Nebraska.
That's where you from?
Yes, that's
Okay.
where I'm from.
Okay.
So I feel like that would so greatly help our kids to just really be in the classroom. That's on their level, reaching them in ELA and in math on their level. I think it would close that gap and allow them to move ahead more than they are now.
I'm agree with what you both said. The curriculum is definitely something that needs to be discussed. Testing, I would prefer that we get away from standardized testing, all of it, because the stuff that's on the test is not, how can I say this? It's not what we're teaching in our classrooms, but it's different.
Right.
It's different than what they're seeing. So it's coming down to a point where should we just literally teach to the test?
Right.
Because that's what they're being tested on, but what we're seeing across the curriculums is not matching exactly what's on those standardized assessments.
So they're confused when we're giving them the test. They're
Especially like the sight word
So
test
it takes
that we
a lot of
give
back
them.
work.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of back work to build them up so they can get to that point.
Right.
It's a lot.
I can imagine. So what's your proudest moment teaching?
Oh.
Don't all too much. It's a two-part question, so you know what's coming at the proudest. But go ahead.
I'll start.
Yeah, I had so like this past school year, I have so many stories about kids, but like this past school year, I had a little girl. She moved from Vegas, and it was her first time in school. She came in October, and that little girl, when I said she worked her butt off, I'm just like, she got on all the reading levels that you're supposed to get on. She got on there. Like, this girl was like reading. She was like drawing her pictures, labeling her pictures. And I'm over here like, but you just got here. Like, I was just so confused. But she was like, no, because I had a talk with her at the beginning. Like, I have to give my kids pep talks because some of them, because like they know how their parents are, they just feel like they don't know anything. So like when I would do like different things for her, like flash like letters or whatever, she's like, I don't know that. Like, I don't know anything. I'm like, no, we're not gonna do that. Right. We're not gonna sit here and like have you have a whole pity party for yourself. So once she got out of that pity party, that girl was on like roll. Okay. And she went back to Vegas, but she's coming back now. And I'm just like, I got so excited. Every time I talk about her with her grandma, I'm just like, oh, how's my baby doing? But I know, like all of us have a lot of teacher stories.
Yeah,
like a lot.
For sure. I'm very disappointed that our school year ended the way it did. This was my first year being departmentalized, meaning I only teach certain subjects.
Okay.
I just do math and sciences.
Before it was all of it?
Yeah, I taught all of it.
Okay.
And I decided to flip my classroom this year and do small groups first, which gave me an opportunity to work with those kids that I needed immediately. And my small group, they was coming up.
Yeah.
They was getting it. Like, I'm so pissed that it ended like that. The kids who literally were like my lows became my low mediums to my mediums.
They
were working. Get it in like this.
So they was like, it basically threw them off track while they just.
Yeah, like I don't know where they at now.
Okay.
Because we left in March.
Right.
And they was having those, I told you can do it.
Yup.
It brought me joy to know that they was really starting to get it. Like, it worked. Like, you put that time in and you have supports, it'll work.
I know that's a feel-good moment.
Oh, yeah. And I was waiting to see what that data was going to look like. Like, the next assessment.
And then Corona hit and ruined all of us. Corona was like, nah.
Fucked up everything.
Yes.
I think my proudest moments are just every year when they start to write. And I'm looking at them putting their little sentences together, and they're like watching them sound out stuff, and just putting their ideas on a paper. And like I feel like I'm seeing them become a student. Like, so I just love to see that when those moments start to happen, when they're writing stuff and I can read it and I know what it says. Okay.
Yeah. I know what it says.
That is real.
I mean, I have had a few of my kids like come back
It's a little drop
to
in
see
it.
me.
No,
It is just
not that little drop.
That little drop.
I'm listening. Go ahead, Kiara. Go, Kiara.
So when you have those kids that come back to see you and just thank you, and like I just had one that really touched my heart, and she wasn't even my student. It was just one that everybody saw as a problem child. So when she was having her day, she would come down, she would talk to me. So like to just have her come back and just talk to me and just let me know where she's at, that just is that's a whole that just takes you to a whole nother
Yeah.
like damn, like
It
I'm really
do
doing
work.
something.
Yeah.
This matters. Like this work matters.
Yeah.
If you actually love what you do and you put in the work, it matters. So
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Because what people don't understand is that we literally changed the trajectory of kids' lives.
Yeah.
And they don't forget who was there for them, and they will come back and see you forever. Because
Yes.
my second grade is my first year. They got me in so much trouble over the years.
Oh,
They
no.
would not go to class.
Yes,
They would come
That's
to
the
my
thing,
class.
but that's the
Like,
thing.
you cannot be here.
Right.
You the past, and the teachers are texting me like,
Why are you in your room?
I didn't try to come here. But they love on you.
That-
I
they
get in
love
trouble.
on you, and they
I
will
get
come
in
back.
trouble all the time.
Yeah, because
All the time.
I have my little kids that I had in city year. They were in first grade, and now they're going into 8th grade, and they all found my Instagram. They're following. They're like,
Oh,
Miss
yes.
T, like even though that 1 year, like they're like, Miss Tia, we miss you. Like
Mhm.
I used to like even when I was living in South Africa, I sent every last kid, and I knew both first grade classrooms. I was only in charge of one first grade classroom, but I knew both of them. So I would send them postcards, and even to this day, they're like, yeah, my mom still ask about you. Like I just had a mom like I love their family. Like their family they were considered as like kids who like to fight all the time, but they did. I mean, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But she was like, yo, you want to come to dinner? Like the kids would be so excited, and I'm over here like it's been like what 7 years, and you're still like,
Yeah.
come over here.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's so
It matters.
exactly. And I wasn't even the teacher of record at the time. That's the funniest. Like I was just a volunteer in the room. They're like,
Okay.
no, we love Miss Tia.
Yeah.
Come here. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Kids
I,
know when you don't like them.
And
Yeah.
that's
They
another
know.
thing. And then they'll like you right back
They
too.
don't like anything out of them.
yeah, I know what y'all mean. Because when I was at the school in Montgomery County, it was two kids that because we used to do field trips during the summer. We had like a summer program, and they would like text if they could make it or not. And two of the kids, like they was two of my favorites because they was going to school to be doctors, and I was like that's tight. Like I like that y'all doing this, and one of them hit me up like after maybe it was like March. He hit me up, and he in college now. And this was like 2 years after I was still working there, and he graduated probably 2 years ago, or maybe a year ago. But he in college now. He had texted me just to holler at me and check up on it. I was like, I appreciate that. But when you know when you get that appreciation, like, you made a difference in their life, cause they ain't going, in high school you ain't thinking about nobody like that. Like if they ain't in that circle of your family, you ain't
That's
thinking about
real.
nobody. So it mean a lot. It means a lot to me for real.
Yeah, cause that's funny. I found my 8th grade like typing teacher, and I was like, "Are you Mr. Newman, like the one from 2005, 2006?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "I always talk about you, like when I talk about, cause I only had 3 like male teachers who are black." So like I always talk about them to this day because I'm like, we need more black like male educators in there, and I always talk about the same 3, and like it was such a great relief to be back in contact with him because I'm like I haven't seen you since 2006, and I still talk to you to this day, and I'm like you had a strong impact on me, and like I'm hoping that my kids are like that, like when they get older, they're like yo, Miss Garrett, that one right there,
Because like you said, somebody said, Kiara, you said like y'all spend more time with them than the parents more than like. So if you don't have some kind of impact on them, it's saying a lot. You spending a lot of time with these kids.
They become our children.
Right.
They are
And
our
it
children.
reminds me when the kids start calling you mom.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
You're
You're like, oh, I got you now.
wait a minute.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
I was going to
That
ask.
mom
I got 2 questions before I forget because I want to know, like, I don't want to say worse, but the most challenging time. But I also want to ask you, what's the comparison to school and growing up in school in Omaha versus Baltimore? What's the biggest difference you see?
Well, again, I wasn't in public school either, so that might be more of a difference. Like, for example, I was just talking to somebody from that I went to elementary school with. So we went to the same school I was there from 3rd grade to 8th grade. It was one of those schools. I went to 8th grade. So my 8th grade class only had 8 kids in it. My whole 8th grade class.
Wow.
That's
So,
a
girl, that wasn't the norm though. Like we started off a class of 25
And it
to
went
30,
down.
and we was just the only ones that stuck through in our grade up until
Wow.
the end.
That sounds so shocking.
like, wow.
40 kids.
Like usually when I tell people like, oh, were you in like a special?
Oh.
I was doing. But yeah, so I mean that's a very different experience. But I don't know. I feel like we valued education more than I see it seems valued sometimes. Like sometimes it seems like at home it's not always important to do your work. It's not always important to, or like when you're at school, you're at school.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happens at school, that's your school stuff. I see that, and that's kind of like the difference that I don't like, because, and you have the other side too. Don't get me wrong, where it's parents up there like you did what, you said what, you know, that are on their kids.
Yeah.
So it's definitely both, but
For the most part.
yeah, I don't know. Like I remember like how we were saying the kids running and playing. Like yeah, we cut up a little bit. I had smart mouth. I was in the principal's office a lot, a lot. But I don't know. I feel like we kept ourselves together a little bit more. I don't
cut
know.
up is different than ours.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother level.
Even me being here in Baltimore City schools, like some of the stuff these kids do now, I'm like, I'd be sitting there really in the hallway like, did he just cuss her out with that? Like, these kids don't care.
Never
But it's
would've
also
thought
really
to do
funny
that.
because some of the kids, like the ones who are in 5th grade, they know me so well. So if they curse, I'm like, oh, Miss Kiara, I apologize. Like, I didn't mean for you to hear that. And I'm like, yo, I'm not even about to go off on you.
Though.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have been cussing in the hallway.
Oh, no. For everyone to hear? Because I was there at a different time.
Right. Yeah, and that's what it is. That was, you know.
We knew how far to go.
Yeah.
That was
15,
my
20 years ago.
my next question was by being a teacher and seeing what y'all see on a daily. How do y'all feel about yourselves when y'all was in school? Like, do y'all see it in comparison? Like, well, now I see how I was, or now I like it. What's the disconnect between when you were in school versus?
Horrible in school. That's the funny
But
part.
I do know that the family structure is different.
Okay.
Than when I was in school. Our kids today are dealing with a lot of shit that we did not have to deal with when we were growing up.
Right.
So, of course, a lot of that is from the environment. They bring in all of that to school.
Yeah.
All of it.
I feel like on top of that, like we didn't have social media as a kid either. Like we were
Yeah.
right. It was like MySpace, but
Not
that was
even-
it was like
But it was cute. Like,
right.
I don't know about y'all,
But
I
it-
was on MySpace.
Look, but
I was too.
In
I
high
was
school,
too.
right.
High school, college.
Not elementary school.
Elementary.
Exactly. So like I'm just saying, like in elementary school, like we didn't have social media. We had you won't go outside and you need to come in when the lights turn on. Like that's what it was. So like we were kids growing up. I mean I know some people who weren't just kids growing up, but it's like for the most part we were kids. Like we didn't have all of these outside influences, and now like I just see that I'm just like, bro, like y'all can't even have a normal life because you have like cyberbullying happening. Like we didn't experience cyberbullying like that growing up because
you gotta beat somebody. So
okay.
call you a punk on So when it's time to fight, you better get in there, like you know, like.
And like you said, kids is a key word.
Right.
We could be children.
We were children.
Our
Like,
children
that's what we
aren't
were.
children today. They have to be
They go
mom,
home, they
dad,
take care of
sister,
kids,
brother,
yeah.
work. Like they're not kids.
The elementary kids be on social media like that.
What?
Listen, you will be you be
I
decided
got
from
class
they
statement.
have
I would
iPhones.
not accept it.
For real?
They
I
got
had a 5-year-old on an iPhone.
Wow.
Yeah. What's going on?
They got iPhones, 11s and stuff.
That iPhone better than mine. It's just like,
They
what?
expose us so much.
Yeah.
That's when I asked them, buy me one. Shit, you here with me all day. I need one of those.
Okay.
That's
Wow.
why we can't be like, oh, goo goo gaga with them. Like, don't talk to them like they're adults, but you gotta talk to them so they can
Straight.
understand.
Right.
Because they real little mature.
Yeah.
Like,
Social media
different.
raising them for real.
But for real, like that.
it's different.
One of the best pieces of advice that I got when I first started off was from another teacher, and she was like, be their mom. Like you're gonna have to be their mom sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's very true. Like you have to be that disciplinarian with the hug. You have to be ready to correct and be real with them. Like
And be
it's not all babying. Yes, it's not all babying. And you don't want to talk to them like they grown, but you want to be real with them. And matter of fact, don't sugarcoat too much.
That'll work with about 99.9. You gonna find that 1% that's like,
Push
girl,
back.
you ain't my
Always
mother.
one.
What are you
Oh.
talking to me like that? When you like, oh. those little breakthroughs with them, but for the most part, they like, look, I don't got time for you. That's it.
At the end of the school year, they different.
Yeah,
Right,
they,
yeah.
Last week of school.
by the end,
Like, what?
Their heart gets soft.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
You gonna miss me over the summer?
Right.
Yeah, you in my face. Like,
I mean, I feel like in
Pretty
school,
funny.
I was a pretty good kid in school. It was when I got home is my problem. So
The attitude came out.
until I hit puberty, and you know, it was about high school, and I was like, oh, walking out of classrooms and stuff. And so now I be feeling so bad. Like, oh my god, I really was that kid. Like high school. Oh yeah, I was that kid.
I always
Oh my
had
God.
a nasty mouth.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, this one
Phone
right
calls
here.
all the time.
Me too.
Punished
Me
all
too.
the time.
Me too. Me too.
With you?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I got in
always
trouble
say something smart to say.
every year until like 11th grade. That's when I
What
think
you
I
was
hit
getting in
mature.
trouble?
Okay.
Talking all the time, shit like that. I wasn't really doing too much. I'd be like
See,
class
look.
clown type shit.
See, it was a whole nother like ball game with having a military mom. My mama, I don't even know if I can say it. My mom used to give my teachers all permission, okay?
Oh,
When my mom was like, oh, I'm going, yes, my mom would be like, oh, I'm going out to sea for 6 months. I need somebody being in school who will discipline her.
Okay.
So like I couldn't act up in school.
Yeah.
None of my schools, my mom had a designated person she chose to send me down to.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like, but high school, I just didn't. Like, I
get
just
them
didn't.
kids now where parents say that, and I'm like, sis, I
Yeah.
gotta lose my job.
Okay.
I'm gonna call you to come up here and do
Yeah.
that, right?
Maybe
I ain't even
serious.
supposed to let you do that, but look.
Look, I'm not losing my job.
Yeah, so it's something that you said that be like, they act up. Come on. No.
No, sis. Mm-mm.
No, I had parents who were like, I would write you a letter with permission, and I'm like, oh.
And then you on channel
Jesus.
13.
Right.
Project Baltimore.
Right.
Project Baltimore.
Oh, leave me out of it.
Right. No
So going,
I don't want no smoke.
none.
y'all shared a little bit so far about the COVID thing. So what's the biggest, like, how was that transition for y'all? Like when that kicked in, how did y'all feel? Like did y'all was like I don't know what's gonna happen type thing? Like
It wasn't
explain.
no transition. It was they threw us in there. It was like, look,
It is what it is.
this day we was supposed to be in PD, and then they were like, well, this is what's about to happen. Y'all about to be off for it. Initially was a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh shit, like this is serious. This is some serious shit. But of course we still playing and shit.
Get
We
me.
about to be off for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when they started sending us stuff like, oh, you need to get this virtual lesson, I'm like, oh, this shit is
Yeah,
serious.
so
Like,
they
Google
told us to
Classroom?
clean out the classrooms and take
Oh,
whatever you want.
take the snacks. Remember they took the snacks?
We really about to be closed.
Right.
Like, huh,
yeah.
it's over. March 13th.
Yep. That was it.
That was it.
That was it. And I mean, you got a few emails and oh, you need to do this training so that you can start this lesson on Monday. And I'm like, bitch, it's Friday. So yeah, it was like just being thrown into it. But I feel like we made the most of that shit.
As
Like,
best as we could.
as best we
Because
could.
nobody knew anything. Like,
Mhm.
let's not playing the damn pandemic.
We
Right.
still don't know shit. If you want to,
I'm still
we still don't know shit.
We don't, cause I teach with young audiences. Well, I'm not teaching this summer, but there's other people teaching this summer. I'm an instructional coach, and even with that, it's virtual, and I'm just over here like, it's too many Zoom links. Like people don't know what they're doing. People don't know like
And
how to do
parents are
certain
calling.
things. Yep,
When
parents.
is school going? When do you
Yep.
go next? Sis, I don't know.
We don't know anything.
I know just as much as you know. I
We
don't
just had town hall meetings last week.
Right.
So like we don't know what's gonna happen next month when everybody has to go back, but they have to hurry up and figure that out because next month is gonna be a blink.
Mhm.
It's here.
I felt very overwhelmed when everything happened because I'm not good at time management and remembering to log on. Like being in college and I had one online course in undergrad and I failed it. I had to take it out. I'm not good at like just keeping up
Yeah.
and remembering.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt very overwhelmed that I was then going to have to be leading this thing online and what? So when I feel overwhelmed about something, I kind of just put it off and I don't think about it or I try not to think about it until that, okay, it's the day before now, I need to figure this out.
Right.
So, yeah. So it was very overwhelming for me. I had like a lot of anxiety around having to be an online teacher, but we figured it out.
think I went through all emotions at different times.
Mhm.
I was shocked, and I was like, oh, I'm home. This is some time I got on my hands.
Sis, what?
I was
It was
looking at
like,
y'all.
oh wait, my kids. Like, okay. Because school is like a refuge for a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's safety.
Yeah.
It's food. What the
Right,
fuck is
right.
going to happen to my kids now?
Right,
Like, where are they?
exactly.
Are they safe?
Yeah.
So then the guilt kicked in from feeling good about being off.
Right.
And then it was like, okay, so what we going to do?
Right.
Like, they're going to plan something for us to do. What is it exactly? Then they went to the virtual learning. Okay, where's the guidelines? What are we doing? What's going to happen? Then came all the meetings. And I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to ride away.
Right.
Let me know what I got to do. And I'll try to do my best to do it.
Right.
But nobody, how you plan for that? Like,
Right.
it came out of nowhere.
They definitely did.
It came to a point
I
I was
didn't
just
know that.
mad. I was mad. And like she knew I was mad because we would have like these little online office hours calls. I'm just sitting here like, I can't do this no more. I'm over it. Because I like being around kids and I just
Different.
yeah, and like I had got a grant from Donors Choose to get school supplies for my kids. So during the quarantine, I went to every last one of my kids' houses and dropped them off this little package for all these school supplies. But even like being with them, I'm just like, bro, I need to be in the classroom. This virtual stuff is not personal at all.
At
Because
this point, I'm ready to risk it all. If I get.
right, because
It's not the same.
it's not the same because it's like you have some kids who don't. It's like hard for them to use like their parents aren't. They don't have any knowledge of technology, so like they don't know how to get on there, and it's just like I don't know what to do because I'm not there with you to show you how to do the step by step, and me saying it to you on the phone is not gonna work out.
Right.
And so I'm like, it just got to a point I was like, I can't do this no more. This is hard.
But speaking of that tech though, I was a little proud of Baltimore City for giving out them laptops.
We got into it real quick.
Yeah, yeah. They were like,
Thanks to
oh,
a
you
lot
don't
of
have
other districts.
you don't have a
Okay.
laptop at home? Come get one. The schools will give you one. You
Yeah.
don't have internet? No, Comcast will give you free
Yeah.
internet. I was
That's
like, well,
good.
shit.
Definitely.
Okay, at least it hopped
I
on
need
me.
a laptop and free internet.
They came through with that.
They definitely did.
I was definitely proud of them.
So
And they did a second round too.
Yeah, they did.
Which I
That's
was
the
like,
second
I thought it
round.
was gonna be one and done. And I was like, they were like, nah, if you didn't get the first round, we got you the second round.
Mm-hmm.
So how was the teaching? Like all the kids y'all was able to get? No. Man.
A good portion, I think about 30% of my kids logged on.
I had like, it depended on the day.
Mhm.
Maybe 5 one
Mhm.
day, 10 on Friday maybe. It was hard. It was hard getting in contact with families.
Mhm.
That probably was the hardest part.
The thing that annoyed me a little bit is I didn't spend all week calling you. I did reach every kid. I did talk to you. I did walk you through all the steps. I spent an hour on the phone with you,
Mm-hmm.
setting it up, logging you in. But where are you?
You still
Yeah.
don't log in?
Yep. That happened a lot.
Dang. So all them kids that was doing good that didn't, like, you think it dropped off?
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely had to.
I mean, I feel like even with virtual, it was going to happen because it's not the same. It's different. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hands-on learning and staring at a screen, two totally different things. And
It's not for everybody.
and they're not getting that support that they would get in the classroom where it's like, oh, you messed up on this, all right, let's fix it. And I'm not saying that to say like they aren't parents that were supportive, but you know, like coming in, like I think we talked about it a little earlier, like coming into schools, I was like, damn, that's fucked up. Their mothers don't help them. But then you start to learn, you know, your families, you start to hear their stories, you start to learn like, I can't worry about what they learning or doing their homework with them because I gotta worry about what they gonna eat. And I work. I'm at work at night. There's nobody there, so you know, like it's like, you know, I understand it's still fucked up, but you know, you gotta understand like their story because shit happens. So I feel like that definitely, right. So I feel like that definitely was a downfall for them during distance learning. So.
If anything, I hope this situation just opened everybody's eyes.
Right.
Teachers, parents, stakeholders. Like, our children came at a disadvantage at this as far as the technology piece. Thank God Baltimore City were able to come through. But it's still just, the barriers are there.
Yeah.
It's very much real. And this COVID, it shed light on all of it.
Right, because I was speaking.
All of it.
I was speaking to a teacher. She teaches in Reisterstown, and she was like, "Oh yeah, like they mailed them laptops." No, in Baltimore, you had to come down. It didn't matter if you worked or not. You had to figure it
Sign
out.
for it, show me your ID, sis. You gonna take care of this?
And I'm over here like mail.
Right.
Like that was my when she said mail, that was my first word I said back, and I'm like,
Nah,
Nah, I wouldn't.
not down here.
We tried.
Look.
Before we gave ours out, because when they first said we was gonna be off for 2 weeks, I went back home to Omaha. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna take my little vacation.
She didn't even wait. Like, she didn't even wait. I was like,
No,
damn.
I take out for 2 weeks and hopped on a plane. But my little cousins, because in Omaha school starts in August, so they kind of cut off before us too. So they already were at home with their packets. They all had laptops, and I'm like, the school gave them these? Oh, that's not gonna happen in Baltimore City. They ain't giving nobody laptops again. Give them laptops, okay? And my little cousins are in Catholic school also. So I'm
That's
thinking
the way
like
out
that's
there.
the
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's just the thing that they're doing. So I was very happy and surprised also that our kids got technology.
Yeah, that's definitely.
And they also had a lot of the schools were doing food banks.
Yeah.
For families who needed food. So
We still doing it.
those are still operating. That's good.
Mhm.
So that was one of the good things that continued on too. Is that they are giving away food to families that are in need. We had the learning packets, but
Well, learn
Right. that's the call you get. You said, yeah, sir, we sent on the packet. What packet?
We ain't paying that shit no more. That's like
Yeah.
summer,
They got
that's like the
that
summer read program. Ain't
Oh,
nobody
yeah.
doing that.
Nobody.
So what y'all think school gonna look like next school year?
What's
I ain't speculating.
Well, like, do y'all see? Cause I seen that they putting out different things like how they gonna restructure the whole classroom structure.
What you know?
I seen stuff. I'm in the news. But it seemed far fetched because they talking about the social distances and wearing masks and shit. But then y'all got kids like first grade, kindergarten. They ain't going for that. Like,
40 kids.
They gonna be like this with their mask in the
We
room.
gotta take our mask off ourselves,
We
so.
hot under there.
Okay. Because we know they might not have air conditioning when we walk back into the building.
right.
That air don't kick in until about October.
Exactly.
When it's
Like,
cold
okay, it's
already.
cold.
Exactly.
I think as much as we want to be back with our kids and back in the classroom, I'm starting to feel like maybe that's not the best option safety wise. I don't know. I feel very torn about it. Very torn.
See, I'm over here like, let's just wait a little bit. Only because, like, we have, like, the babies. So, like, babies are already germy. Like, they're learning how to wash their hands. They're learning how to sneeze
We're
correctly.
teaching them
That
how to
too.
wash their
That too.
hands.
You're right. We're
Yeah.
teaching them.
How to blow their noses
Even in
properly.
second grade.
Oh,
Yes.
oh,
Oh,
Lord.
yeah.
What? No, in second grade.
Hand washing from the bathroom is an issue. I'm at the door. I ain't hear no water.
Oh, Lord. I wasn't ready for that. I'm
Let me
like,
see your
No,
hands.
for real. Like,
They too dry.
they too dry. It don't even look like you went under the nails.
Yeah, y'all really mothers. Y'all really
Yeah.
mothers.
Yeah,
I don't mean no harm. I hope we go back. And just
Let's go.
like, I'm ready to risk it all. Like, no. Like, listen, like.
They have I guess, what is it, the hybrid model where you go like A, B classes or something, like split your classes in
it
half?
makes no sense because
It doesn't.
if I am there on
I'm
A
the
day
constant.
and B day.
What if I
I'm the
get
constant.
sick from someone from A day and I give it to someone, the people on B day?
Yeah, we all
Like,
fucking got it, so we could have all been here in the beginning.
exactly.
I know it's definitely taboo to say, but I'm ready to go back because I really feel like our kids are not going to get what they need virtually, and they're already preparing us. They're not, and they're already preparing us for starting virtually, which is already like, damn, they basically made their decision. They just haven't voiced it yet, but they're asking parents to give their opinion, but they gotta actually give their damn opinion. Like, I call so many of my friends like, did you fill out the survey? Like, what survey? God damn it. Let me send you this link again. I done sent it to you 5 times, lady. But yeah, I feel like I'm like we said before, like, if you have that passion for it, like, this shit not about to stop what I need to do. And I feel like I'm ready. Even if I gotta take them damn masks to their face, like, give me that duct tape.
Lord. Because you know our kids be ready to go, woo, over here with them.
So what does if the school, like if they start to keep doing it online or versus in the classroom, what does that look like for the parents that can't, like, they gotta work? So how does that work?
If you think about it, it's a double-sided sword either way. If we
Mhm.
go back, people get lost on that end.
Mhm.
If we online virtually, people get lost on that end.
Yeah.
I feel like going back might be way better because the kids at least have their teachers there to support them, like because they have parents that work while we're in school anyway. But it'd just be hard because like I have parents who are like, oh, I can't do this with them, and they only do the stuff with them like on a certain amount of time on the weekend. So the kids are just like cramming everything on the weekend instead of doing like how we would do in school. Like you're gonna learn this on this day and this and this day. So it's like I feel like virtually they're gonna be more lost versus like us being in the room with them. I don't know.
It's the health thing for me.
I know that's me
It's
too.
the health thing.
I
I'm ready to get
understand.
back, but
I understand, but listen,
I'm gonna keep it.
I
It's
just
gonna That COVID shit is real.
Yeah,
It
definitely
is.
For sure.
It is.
I had that shit.
Okay.
Okay.
It's real.
Right.
I don't wish that on nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God I came out on the milder side of it.
Right.
But for people who
Didn't make it.
Yeah.
I understand
Mhm.
what the fuck is going on.
Right.
Like, I don't want to fuck with it at all.
Yeah.
If it ain't no way that y'all can guarantee 1,000% that we're all gonna be safe, I ain't ready to go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm mentally fucked up from
Yeah,
it.
I
Honestly.
agree. I agree, but then you gotta think about it like,
Like,
are
that
we
shit
ever
crazy.
going to be out of it though? Like,
Yeah.
this is our new way of
I'd
life.
rather be home,
Yeah.
yo.
This ain't no, oh, well, let's
The
get
world
over
might
it.
be
Let's,
changed forever.
right. Like,
Yeah.
just think about it. All of us walking around with masks and shit. Like, I'm like, damn, I can't even go to happy hour. Put a hole in my mask, goddammit. So it's just like,
Mm.
it's
I'm nervous. I'm
You gotta
really
put the
nervous.
straw through the whole thing,
so
I was open to going back, but I mean I have a 1-year-old at home. I have a son who's 8. My boyfriend is diabetic, so I feel like if I was to get it, I'll probably be okay. I feel confident that I could recover. I feel confident that I wouldn't die. But what if he, what if I give it to him and he's not so lucky? What if I give it to my baby and her lungs don't fight it off or what have you?
Scary.
Yeah.
So the parents that work, if they continue to do it virtually online, and the parents that gotta work, they gotta basically find somewhere for these kids to go out.
I feel like they did it.
They've been doing
They
it.
did it now. We reacted.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
The difference is an
Away.
extended period of time because you have those parents. Well, the parents will be at work and they'll have someone arrange to pick the kid up, like during dismissal.
Yeah.
And the only difference is it's a longer period of time during the day instead of like for 2 or 3 hours after school.
Okay.
So it's like they have those systems in place. It's just
And I'm just thinking about like, so if they try to do the split days, what about our latchkey kids who have siblings? If one sibling
That was
goes
another
on
thing,
that day,
too.
then this sibling goes on the other day.
No, they were trying to
have them go on the
they
same
asked
days.
us about having siblings go on the same day.
Mhm.
They asked us
They
like,
gonna do it?
is that important to us?
Definitely.
It's definitely important because you don't see
Don't
parents
miss
what
together.
right.
but
Get the
same
whole
thing I
day.
said. What the fuck if one of these kids give it to me and I give it to my kids on the B day?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's not like they're getting 2 different teachers. They're getting the same
They get the same
teacher.
teacher. Like now, if they said, all right, well look, we're gonna have this teacher teach on this day, this teacher teach on this day, that would be different.
It's gonna have to be a whole new system, huh?
Yeah, right.
Girl, this shit is crazy.
That's why I've been staying out of my little teacher groups online.
Oh,
It's
they've been
stressful.
going on.
Girl,
Like,
I know someone who works in North Avenue. They are sending. There are teachers that are sending their obituaries to them. Like, look,
Oh.
if you send me back to school, this is what's gonna happen.
Wow.
Like, so
Damn.
if you send me back to school, this you might as well have this because you gonna need it.
Damn,
Like, 'cause
that
it's-
ain't playing.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
That's serious.
It's real.
Yeah,
You got a whole obituary made.
Yeah.
So when is the school year technically supposed to begin?
End of August?
We are supposed to report as teachers to my school on August 17th.
Okay.
17th?
Damn,
The 10th?
Yeah, that's why we ended whatchamacallit earlier.
When did they say the 10th?
I'm gonna be about to check the calendar.
Calendar, like,
We always start earlier than everybody
We
else.
start 2 weeks earlier for PD.
100% project.
So by that date, they should have an answer on how the school year is
Let's
gonna
hope
move.
they have
No, the
I ain't
kids
gonna
wouldn't
say
come
all
back
that.
that early. The kids
Okay.
come back Are you supposed to come back end of August?
She told me August, and it's on my calendar. August.
Pull up the receipts. I mean, I'm cool with that.
So, okay, give me a week vacation after the summer program.
But they'll have an answer by the end of August for what the school year, or no?
I'm hoping by the end
Earlier.
of July.
The end
Yeah.
of
Something by the end of July.
Because we have to still plan for the
Yeah.
first week of school.
Right.
So.
Did Montgomery County just say they starting online?
Well, I
And
think
then
we will
Moco
too.
saying
Like
they starting.
most of what I've heard is that we won't return until about January or February because the second wave is gonna hit when it gets cold, and that's what they're fearing.
So technically, so you said about 30% of y'all said 30% of y'all classes reported online. So the 70 that didn't is probably not going to do it for the rest of the school year. The rest of this year. So they're going to miss damn near a whole year
Of school.
of education.
Right.
Wow.
And then you gotta get them in January. You gotta start all over again.
That's why I'm just trying to think
You gotta brace
about
yourself.
this system. Like the
That's
school to home relationship has to be improved.
Mm-hmm.
If we gonna go virtual, we have got to get our parents on board.
That's what it
Like
is.
100%.
In school or out of school, I feel like we need
That
that
too,
strict,
yeah, for
that
sure.
improved. I feel like that makes all the difference.
Definitely.
Or it can make all the difference in a kid's success. Home has to be on it when it comes to school.
Like, I just need y'all to put them on. I got it from there.
Right.
Just-
Right.
Yeah.
Make sure they get online.
Right.
You know,
I can
it's
take it from
important,
there.
and this is what you're about to do for
Yeah.
the next hour.
But I understand people be
So,
Kevin.
so in closing, my final question, y'all segue right into it very perfectly. My last one was, what advice do y'all have for parents during this change of schooling?
Let me take them.
All the
back.
You got it.
We love y'all kids just as much as y'all do. But you gotta work with us. Like, if the schedule ain't working, reach out and let me know. And please understand, as teachers, when we take this hat off, we are mothers, fathers, we are caregivers, all of that. And still gotta wrap it up and be a teacher first. In a lot of people's eyes. Work with us, we work with you. But you gotta let us know. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't be trying to put heat tickets in. You ain't even talk to me.
What is it? Heat
Give me a
ticket?
chance to solve the problem.
What's a heat ticket?
Reporting me.
Yeah.
Basically.
Now, of course, you didn't know
And I ain't
that.
talked to you all week.
They basically say like you ain't do what you were supposed to do, so
Holla at me first.
right.
That's all I
Damn, cutthroat.
Yeah. And look, you get that email like, oh, this came to our attention. Like, damn, what are you talking about?
Like, you have my number.
Right.
do. What y'all gonna be?
I just feel like
Yeah.
you know what you said is true. Like you have to reach out to me. Like, come on now. Like we have to work together. Like
Yeah, we got to.
It's a partnership.
I'm gonna reach out to you.
I'm gonna get on your damn nerves
Oh,
because I be texting, calling like such and such isn't in the chat today. Let me go like. I got
We
shit
want to
do.
see our kids.
Right.
We miss them.
But you know what's the crazy part? Our 30% that actually came to online, we had about almost 100% at our our drive-through graduation. So
Yup.
They
That's
just,
what's up.
no, they came there, but they couldn't come.
Right.
Wow.
They don't show up
okay.
for the party for the celebration.
Okay,
Oh,
look.
You did it, but you
Okay.
You weren't doing your work on
That's
one
not what's
too.
up. That's not what's up.
I'm
my
glad to
bad.
see it. But you ain't low one time.
So yeah, just.
And I will say this: I had some kids who never talked in class, but online,
They were talking.
yes.
They were comfortable.
They feel more
I
comfortable.
was like,
It's that
oh
little-
man, they needed this little real small group, this small group. But that was magical.
Yeah, so just letting the parents know, like, look, we don't want this to be the case
Yeah,
any more than
no.
you do, but
Exactly.
we just, shit, we here, let's work this shit out. Like, what you need me to do, I'm gonna let you know what I need you to do, what's gonna be best for your child, like, let's work together. So that's it.
Yeah, I think like just putting in forefront, like you said, what's best for the kid. Like I would love to drop my son off at school and he can do his thing and I can solely focus on doing what I need to do too, but that's not the case. And safety wise, it might be better for us to just be at home, even though that's not what I would want to do all day. You just gotta try your best. Just try your best for the sake of your kid's success. Just try your best. Whatever that might be. If that's, just setting them in front of the computer screen, put forth just that effort. Remember, this little person is going to grow up. They're going to need to be able to function and be successful and productive in the world, and just do your best, whatever that is, to try to ensure that. Right.
We want y'all to be active. We do. I like when I hear my parent volunteers.
Yeah.
Come every day.
But I think parents need to understand, we're here for them.
Yeah.
I think they forget. They're like, oh, they're not in the classroom. Like, oh, they're not really here for us. No, we still here for y'all.
Yeah,
and then a lot of them look at us like this is our fault. Like,
it's not our fault.
It is. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be home.
They probably believe that since we're home, it's not a lot. No, the pressure is thicker.
It's still
now that we
Not
are
everything
home.
is tracked. Did you do this? I can
Girl,
see.
because
We all being micromanaged.
Right.
Look, because we had to record video, so it's like, oh, your video wasn't uploaded by 11 a.m. Like, we need your video now. Like, that's how.
Maybe like 11 or 2. Like, damn.
What's is a video lesson?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That shit really different. Huh?
It is.
So it's not. It's a y'all do a video lesson and then y'all do a live with.
So we had to do live teaching, which is them getting on Zoom or Google Meet, where we're actually delivering instruction. So that was a thing. And then you have the videos.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Then you had to upload work for them to do
on your Google Classroom.
Listen.
And we're trying to make it as functional as possible so everybody can access it, be able to do it, and then that was a thing.
And then for us, these are some of us have never even used these platforms before, so I'm upload some work on what, sis?
Yo, I will say that me and her were blessed to have a teammate who was very technology queen over here, okay? Okay. Technology queen, she held it down, because me and her, we were over here what are we supposed to do?
I know that we're supposed to live in the age of technology, we're supposed to know this shit. I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I gotta be a producer. Where's wardrobe?
Exactly.
These colors don't
The
go.
whole 9 yards.
Hell yeah.
I think this was a challenge too. We gotta step up as far as technology. We gonna have to, cause woo.
Don't tell me that, sis.
Make
Like,
y'all feel real old when it
Gotta
comes to
be
this.
technology.
Right, definitely.
So in closing, we usually when I close, I usually just get everybody just to say, check out the social media. But I know with teachers it's a little different. So, but if y'all want to,
social media?
no, I know y'all got it. I know y'all got it, but I know all teachers are not welcoming everybody to their platform. But in that case, in closing, what?
She gonna tell them her. Go ahead.
So in closing, we can just go around.
Start this way.
Let me go last.
Go ahead.
Don't have to do it.
Okay, I'm on Instagram.
Oh my God.
This was waiting for this moment.
I'm on Instagram. My Instagram handle is.
I'm at msmiss.al_amin Miss Alameen on Instagram.
Her Instagram name is really geared towards her job. Mine
It's not.
I am on IG at Concrete Rose 08. Facebook at Kiara. I have a few of my parents on there. They check in.
Do y'all welcome questions from parents?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Reach out.
Okay, cool.
Definitely reach out.
Cool.
Sure.
My Instagram is long. Is that girl Shantiti?
just go to Concrete Rose 08.
Right, just go to Concrete Rose, follow her. Look, just look up that girl on hers.
Look at my friends.
Love it. I'm on Instagram as Michi, M-E.Chi, C-H-I-E.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Cool. So in closing, everybody stay safe with this COVID shit going on.
It's real.
And please keep intact with the We Need Answers podcast. We do promotion too. So if y'all got any products y'all want to promote, we doing drops for that as well. Anybody.
Okay.
So check in on the YouTube and on the podcast apps, please. Until next time, We Need Answers podcast.